Remember, that's so long ago. That's a family member. That's what the family did. You want to sit on here? Just sit. You know what? Sit on this chair. You know, one of these chairs. Better for you because you can't go. Yeah. That's what
singing the song. Song you may be seated. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for coming today to celebrate the life of Christeana Gordon, who died on March 2nd in a nursing home. Christeana would have been 73 in October. My name is Pastor Pauline Richard. I'm the Connection and Membership Pastor at Evangel, and on behalf of Evangel, all of us, we offer condolences to you, Earl, the son, Jonathan, the grandson, is here, present. We've been praying for you and we're standing with you today. We also, as you grieve the loss of a mother, grandmother, an aunt, and we also offer condolences to family and friends. I know Christina has a brother and a sister in Jamaica, also a sister and a brother in the US, and also, the father is in Vancouver, but all of these were not able to be here today. But we do think of them. Why don't we pray? God, today be with us, especially the family, as we remember the life of Christina. In some ways, it's a difficult day, difficult moment, because it's the time that we acknowledge that a dear mother, grandmother, aunt, and friend is gone, and she will be deeply missed. But at the same time, it's a beautiful day or moment, because it's a privilege to celebrate her life, and a life that we can remember. God, would you help us today, especially the family and friends? Give us comfort, give us your help, remind us of your love, and at the end of the day, give peace, knowing that she's with you. Thank you for your presence. Amen. At this time, I would like to invite Jonathan to come and share a few words.
Hello everyone. I just want to take the time to say thank you for being here. And the first thing that my grandmother taught me is that if you do what's hard, life will be easy. If you do what's easy, life will be hard. She demonstrated that by working until 2 or sometimes 3 in the morning and then being up at 6 or 7 a.m. So she'd be up at 6 or 7 a.m. to make my father and I breakfast. Always with a big smile on her face, pretty much every day. What I admired most about my grandmother was her high spirit. She was naturally energetic and loved having guests over for barbecues and parties. And this was all before she went blind. And believe me, that did not stop her. I'd sometimes get home, the kitchen would be a mess, but as soon as I saw the curry goat, on the stove, I could not help but laugh with her about how unwilling she was to be a victim. Be a victim of her circumstances. Some of you may not know this, but my grandmother was a natural businesswoman. She came here from Jamaica with nothing. She worked so hard and did that hard work mostly by herself. She would tell me things like, man to man, it's so unjust. Children, you don't know who to trust. My grandmother bought only the necessities until she was able to afford her first home. The same home that we've got today. And it was not so long after she bought that home that she had a full-time sewing operation for Sears happening right in the basement. My grandmother was the definition of sacrifice and investment. She sacrificed everything to ensure that my father and myself ended up being somebody's in life. She invested her time generously and acceptance in us. And I guarantee you that my father and I would not be the men we are here today if it were not for the rigor and fire that my grandmother had when it came to getting things done. Today I'm following her. Today I'm following her entrepreneurial footsteps, and I'm growing my father's trucking company. With my father, I'm doing painting and renovations. I've been investing in real estate, and I take pleasure in being there for others, like she was there for me and for others. I would like to thank you all for being here to celebrate my grandmother's life. We're happy to be able to bring my grandmother's remains to be buried in her native Jamaica. And that was her wish. I'd like to thank my father for all he's done for me, very much the same way my grandmother did for him. And only hope that I could be a good son to my parents, as my father has been to my mother, to his mother. Finally, and most importantly, I want to thank my grandmother for all she's done for us, and for many of you here. She's at peace now, and with her God, Jesus Christ. Until we meet again, Grandma.
Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing the way you did. This is an important moment. And you know, grieving is part of life, and grieving is actually part of the healing. And it's okay. It's good to keep the memory alive. It's good to remember who she was. And thank you for those around that came around him to support him. Because this is what it's about when we celebrate a life. It's to be there. And now I would like to invite Avina, Christina's niece, to come and share a scripture.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Amen.
I just would like to read from Psalms 23. Whenever I go and visit my Aunt Christine, we would share gospel songs and read the Bible, and we would pray together. I last saw her on February 19th, and usually I go in and I would say, Christine, how are you? She says, I'm fine. I say, you know who it is? No. So what I always do is sit on her and give her a good tight hug. And she said, yes, it's you, direct. Okay, so she was always a happy woman. Okay, but she was a businesswoman. So we read from Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This was one of An's favorite scriptures. So we thank God for his reading.
You know, just before I asked a couple of people from Evangel to share a few words, I just wanted to reflect on that psalm a little bit, where when it says that he makes me, I shall not be in want, and he makes me lie down in green pastures, it talks about God's provision and his care for us and for his sheep. Where it says that the Lord is my shepherd, it talks about a relationship with him. And Christeana, she did have a relationship with him. Where it says that he restores my soul, it really talks about God cares about us spiritually, and he takes care of us. You know, he's able to restore our soul when we're down and out, or when we're tired, or when we just need to be replenished. It says, yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and it goes on a bit, and that talks about God's protection. And you know, he does protect us in life. Then it says that he prepares a table before our enemies, and his goodness and mercy, they shall follow me all the days of my life. That talks about that God blesses us, and he has our back, even in front of our enemies. God is with us. So just before I continue, I just thought it would be good to ask a couple of people from Evangel that will come and share a few words about Christeana. Lennox, did you want to come up?
Good morning again, Earl, Jonathan, the family, and friends. I knew Christeana for a short period, maybe about 4 years. I met her through Sister Celestine because her name was on our prayer list. And you pray for people, you want to put a face to that name. And eventually, I would call her from church. Every Wednesday I was downtown, and we had Bible study in the night, so I would call her, and she looked forward for that call every Wednesday night when I'm down there to call, and we just chat for a while, and we had good times on the phone. And I believe, if I'm correct, there's one of the sisters here that contacted the church. She wanted to do something, and the email was forwarded to me, and I was away, and I said, okay, and I responded to her. I said, your first assignment, this lady is living in Brassard, and you can bring her to church on Sunday when you come along. So she did that for a few years, and that was really a blessing as well, getting to see her personally. Because I would talk to her on the phone, but I didn't have a picture. And I was able to see her on Sundays when she would come, and even I had to go over to visit her on a given occasion, and it was interesting. And one of the things in my heart, I think about a godly woman. She loved the Lord, and that's so important. When you love the Lord, you can gain the whole world and have nothing, but when you have Jesus, you have everything. And we know that the body is there, but she's not here. She is with the Lord now, enjoying what she was serving and living for, and being a testimony to others, a blessing. So, to the family, we do not weep and mourn like we don't have any hope. We know that she's gone to be where she wants to be, and she's in a better place. Amen. And we thank God for that. Amen. So, family, be comforted.
I don't know if there's someone else who would like to share a word.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is It's a pleasure to see you all here today. I mean, yes, it's a death. Yes, it's a departure. Yes, it's a change of address. And to the family, our deepest condolences. To the friends and everyone who died, because it means something to us. Now, the address that she's gone to, I cannot give you the address, or no one can take you to that address. The Lord Jesus Christ has to take you to that address. Because, as the brother said before, she ain't here. She ain't live there anymore. She's at a new address. But being here today, I consider us fortunate. I consider us blessed. Because we are talking about it. If we didn't talk about it, maybe you may never hear about it. So, the mere idea we are talking about, I hope that you may be doing some thinking. Because she is gone, there is absolutely nothing that we can do about that. But for us who are still around, you still have a chance. At least you got today, you got now. I'm not promising tomorrow, but you got now. And you are blessed for what you are hearing here today. Because at death, there's blessing, or there are blessings in attending a funeral, and I hope that you're going to be blessed today. Because for whatever reason, if you do not understand what we are talking about, it's okay. It's okay. By the time you leave here, you should understand. And I just want to let you know that there's a door and someone is knocking at that door. Someone is saying, I'm waiting, I'm listening. Someone is knocking on that door. And I think now is the time you got to make a decision. Now is the time you got to be sure, because we do not know about tomorrow. I mentioned that I go to Elijah, and invitation, a warm invitation to you for the church that Christeana went to. And there's a special tomorrow. Yeah, you've been blessed. Easter Sunday. So the door is going to be open, and a warm invitation to everyone. I do have some information here. So afterwards, maybe you might be lucky to get something in your hands. Okay? So thank you. The Lord bless you all. Jonathan and Earl and everyone else. We have a church just on the street. Invitation open. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Celestine, I don't know if you wanted, because I know you were really a good friend of Christeana, and just before I share a few words, a brief moment with you.
Remember, I just praise the Lord. Praise God. Well, not relax. My condolences to the family and some of my sisters and brothers of Evangel Church. I'm thankful this evening for this privilege. Christine was a very, very beautiful Christian lady, good friend of mine for many years. I met Christine at the hotel, Bonaventure Hotel. That's very later. We used to work together, not for no long time. Then she was to get married, and she quickly went back to Jamaica to get married, and then she came back. And then after she came back, we keep close together. And I invite her to Evangel Church because I was a long member there and I invite her. That's my opportunity to invite people to God's house. So that's what I did. So she came. And there was a time in her life that as we go on, she gave me a dream. She told me about a dream that she was in this river and I was at the end of the river and she was going to drown and she shouted and all I said, Christine, come on. And she wake up. And that Sunday morning when she met me, she told me the dream. And I told her, Christine, it's time for you to get baptized. And she did, came and she got baptized. And from then, we went on close together. She was a wonderful young lady, loved she was a dressmaker. She used to make a lot of my clothes. I'm really going to miss her because now I dropped a lot of weight and I have a lot of clothes. I really got to make, honestly, I don't know. And she always used to, always there for me. We used to go to picnics together. We used to have a good time. This lady, she was always full of laughter. Very, very happy. And believe me, at the time that she then took sick, and then she get her eyes done, and it didn't work out, the eyes went blind. That had really handicapped her little, because you know where you cannot see. But Christine, that didn't stop her. She always happy whenever I call her and meet with her, she always happy. I remember the time that I'm not feeling all this best now, I goes to Barbados for about 4 or 5 months. And I told Sister Williams and Brother Dwyer, please keep in touch with Christine and call her and pray with her. And they did what I said, they keep it up. And when I come back then, I will do my bit. But these latter days, I wasn't feeling really good at all. So sometimes when I call her, the phone wouldn't, it rang, but nobody didn't answer the phone. So somehow I couldn't get through to Christina call, and I have felt very, very bad. But anyway, every now and then I would call her to find out how Christine were. I had my daughter, one of my son's wife, I told her too, to call Christine, and she used to go and visit Christine for me, because I couldn't get around. You see how I wasn't like this, but now I can't. But we keep in touch with Christine, because Christine is a beautiful Christian woman. I really gonna miss her. So Jonathan and Earl, Celestine is encouraging you all. Your mother is in heaven with Jesus. And I know it's her desire to see her family, you and Jonathan, come to know Jesus Christ as Lord. I'm not here to preach, but I'm just telling you. But everyone today that do not know Jesus is coming soon. And you see the changes. Be ready, not get ready. Be ready. God bless you.
Well, it sounds like I don't have to say a few words. Everybody shared, which is great, fantastic.
Your mama love you. Here, let she see you there, okay? Oh.
That's great. I will just share briefly what we can gather from what people have shared is that Christina was a strong woman.
Jesus.
I think she was a fighter.
Yes.
She was a woman who just loved life, it seems, and a hard worker and willing to do what it took to really make sure that she was going somewhere in life. And maybe coming from Jamaica and maybe having very little, she was determined. And thank God that she was strong and that she did and accomplished what she did. Now I know that in her strong will, it was a story where she was, as Jonathan mentioned, was working for Sears. And I don't know if it was for Sears or for someone else, but she had spent a lot of hours, day and night, creating this, I guess, piece of clothing. And so when she went to deliver it, the check was not ready. It's like, whoa. You guys are laughing, so you know something about Christeana. So she didn't let that go. So she asked the guy, where was the man who asked her to do all this work? And so he went to get him, and then when he came, I think she kind of grabbed him by the scruff there, by the shirt, and asked, where is my check? So he said, hey, you're going to get it tomorrow, from what I understand, tomorrow. She says, you better, because I'm coming back, and before I come back, I'm going to the police station, so it better be ready. So sure enough, the next day she went, and the check was ready. So I think when you came across Christeana, she was pretty sure of herself, and she was just not fooling around. You knew what she meant. So apparently she was not only tough, but she was telling Jonathan, don't be a softy. So in life, we have to affirm ourselves, don't we? A couple of years ago, she lost her sight, as we heard, and then her health went down from there. And she did attend Evangel for many years. And some of you are here today, so thank you for that. You've heard some stories. She's had some good friends. And I know that she loved her Lord, and she loved prayer. And, you know, that's good. It's good for us to remember that. And, you know, just briefly, as we're celebrating Christeana's life, what's interesting is it's the Easter weekend. So there's Good Friday yesterday, and then Sunday, Easter Sunday is tomorrow. So in a few minutes, you know, Good Friday is the road to Sunday. It's a day we remember the crucifixion of Jesus, the cross, the suffering. It's, you know, Jesus had been so powerful. He had taught, he had followers, he had done healing, and all of a sudden, he's in front of the cross, and he's suffering, and it appears that he's weak. Yet, he appeared powerless. But Friday is the beginning of change. There is no forgiveness of sins without the cross. There is no new life without the cross. And it's all about Sunday, where we celebrate life. It's about hope, the resurrection hope. Hope in the here and now, hope in the here and after, hope in forgiveness, hope that we have peace, the hope of heaven. Sunday is a celebration day of the empty tomb. While Christeana's body is here, her soul is not. That's the hope. She's with Jesus. That's what's exciting. Jesus is alive. And because he's alive, it gives us that hope that we who die, who know Christ, are alive. So the grave could not defeat him. And because of his resurrection, we have the hope that today, Christeana is with him. So with that, I want us to hear the song. There's a song I want us to play, and it's called I Can Only Imagine. And it's kind of about imagining what it would be like to be with Jesus. So just before I come with final thoughts, let's listen to this song, I Can Only Imagine. So we can, yeah, go ahead. think we can imagine Christeana dancing before the Lord, bowing and glorifying Him. So I think this is great, and I think she left us a message, to work hard, to do what we can, and to love one another. So with the songs and with this service, I think we can be assured that Christeana is in heaven. So be encouraged by those words. Be encouraged by her memory. Continue to share the stories, because it's what keeps people alive. And so let's just pray before I share an announcement and we come to a close. Father, thank you. Thank you for helping us remember Christeana today, who she was. Help us to continue to share her memories and her stories and be our comfort, especially with the family. We ask that you go with us. And thank you for the hope that we have in you, that this is not an end. This is really just a change of address that was mentioned. And she's in a better place. There's no suffering. There's no pain. There's actually, she would have her sight. And there's rejoicing. In a way, she has a one-way ticket to paradise, waiting for us, that when it's our turn, we'll join her. So thank you for that, Father. Again, continue to be with the family. Thank you for everyone who's taken the time to come here today. In your precious name. Amen. Amen. So let me just say that because her body will be returning to Jamaica, there will be no cemetery today. But there is a reception afterwards, and it is on the 2nd floor, and it's room 1 and 2. Again, thank you. You may stand.
Finally they show up. Paulie, yeah. Jeez. What's up, bro? What's going on, bro? That's okay. Talking is good. Kids are young.
How do you because once
I just come from Coach's. I come back. I see from Coach. I don't want to see everything. Well, I'm not staying on. I'm coming back.
Leave
before you go.
Afterwards,
I'll be back. But his back will be till 7 and 8 tonight when they have to do it.
There's a rule in our house that no one's allowed to study the laundry after 8 o'clock, after 10, after 10, after I go to bed. But trust me, they'll start it at 9:30.
You know what he does with that? When he wants something to wear, he'll take that one piece. Just the one piece.
That's horrible.
That's what's nice. I don't mind doing it for him because I